Being up, and he takes a shot. Reggie, their defense, they are just getting after it. Quarterback keeper, look at that lane open up on the left side, still on his feet. Gets top of it. Disaster.
There you go, baby.
Let's go! 2-0. They get wet niggas. Why not be risky, baby? This is what we do. This is what we do. Pop the gate. Pop the gate. Too easy. God damn it, give me that shit. Yeah, man. Let's fucking go. Hey, one. Hey, give me that shit. Play like we play. We'll kick their second half. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, everybody with me? Yes, sir. All right, let's go. Let's go. Hey, we locked in, bro. We not getting them shit else. Hey, let's go. The only reason they on top is because we gave them the ball 3 times. They ain't took shit. We ain't getting no else. We locked in the rest of the night.
Let's go, baby. Fight, baby. Let's go. We got to bring this shit. Second half. The second half is ours. Let's.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, bad.
Yeah! 2-0, baby.
It's in the books. Your final score.
That's a dub.
Your Houston Dynamics 23. We want to thank you for.
That's 2-0. Next week. That's all I got.
We ain't playing. We here. The boys better bring it every week.
Hey, all I gotta say is Houston Roughnecks, man. That's what we do. H-Town, baby. That's what we do.
What is up, my friends? Welcome to another edition of the XFL, OG XFL Week in Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of XFL News Hub, your alt football media guru, episode 184. On this week's show, we recap Week 2 action. We got Mike Mitchell's power rankings, Week 1 TV ratings, some news, and, of course, your reaction, our question of the week, and so much more. So what we're going to do on this show, we'll go over the scores. We'll do a press conference. The league released some press conference video, so we'll have that. You can hear from some of the players. And then we'll get into the news, then we'll get into your social media stuff, and, and we'll talk to you guys in the chat room. What's up, everybody in the chat room? Let's go through. So if you want to be part of the show, email podcast at XFL News Hub with your thoughts. Record an MP3 or video on your phone. 888-430-7692, extension 3 is the phone number. If you want to leave us a review on Apple Podcast, appreciate that. Apple Podcast, Stitcher, where you can find podcasts. We do have 2 reviews. One from Scene NYS 0001 exclamation point. 5 stars. Look at the positive. Just want to start off by saying thank you for doing this podcast and giving us information and getting us excited about the XFL. It's unfortunate that people want to try to always come out with negative stuff about the league and about your podcast rather than looking at the positive. The whole purpose for the XFL for fans is to be entertained. If you're a football fan, you go into this looking to enjoy watching some football. You cannot like the XFL. 5 stars, appreciate that. FRDSAU says, continue XFL rules. 5 stars there. Appreciate you guys leaving us 5 stars. So if you want to leave us a review, leave us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We'll read it on the show. Good or bad, we'll take it. But I appreciate both of you guys for leaving us a review there. Watch us every week, XFL Week in Review. We're live at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday. Not this Thursday. Family event. but we will have a show coming out at 8 o'clock. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, as always, is where you can find us live most of the time, unless there's a family event going on. Because remember, I have a family, and I work full-time. So let's fix this a little bit. There we go. So there you got that. So if you like football, then like and subscribe to this channel. Let's hit the like button. Let's hit the like button. Get to 100 likes. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get alerted when we get new live and when we go live and when we got new content. Also, remember to check out Alt Football. Still looking for somebody to create us a logo for Alt Football on Reddit. And then you got News Hub Fantasy. There's still leagues forming now. That's taken up a lot of my time, but that seems to be stable now. Appreciate all the bros and people helping me. Reaching out, trying to help, and you know, a lot of good guys now are a part of that fantasy football league. You know, just giving their 2 cents, and hey, maybe you can add this, change this. They've been great. So appreciate the bros. Goodbye to the aliens, but appreciate the bros, and that's how we could differentiate things. Also on this show, I put out a poll because I'm like, how do we describe ourselves? Like, what are we? And we have a poll I put out before the games this past week. This is who is gonna define us. This is what we're gonna call ourselves. Now, this doesn't mean that you know, some kind of conspiracy or weird group or we're better than. This is just kind of a definition. All right, people who like the XFL or XFL football fans are called part of the. We'll fill in that blank. You'll see that what I'm talking about there. Plus your emails, phone calls, we got all that stuff. So before we get into the press conferences, if you were living under a rock, I guess, we have the scores. If you didn't know what the scores were for last week. So we had the St. Louis Battlehawks against the Seattle Sea Dragons. That was a Thursday night game at 9 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis 20, Seattle 18 on that one. Again, another come from behind. A.J. McCarron is the guy. He's the big face of the franchise as of right now. I'm a believer. I was like, okay, maybe that was a one-time thing. St. Louis still has some work to do, clean up, but man, they are coming back. We'll get into St. Louis opening up more tickets in their area. DC Defenders at Vegas Vipers, DC 18-6. That was on Saturday at 7 p.m. Actually had some friends come out to a bar. We get the Anchor Bar here where I'm from area, and my friends came out, watched the game on the TV. The XFL game was on a couple TVs. Wasn't the best thing. And it's funny because once everybody started leaving, that's when the scoring started happening. We'll get into the Vegas stadium situation a little bit later in the show with your comments. Also, we had the Brahmas at Orlando Guardians. Unfortunately, the Guardians, we are who we thought you were. They did not play well. Even Terrell Buckley had some things to say about his players. We're going to have an article on that a little bit later in the week. But the San Antonio Brahmas, Hines Ward, that was Sunday at 4 o'clock. 30-12, Jack Cohn, a guy. Jack Cohn is a guy. He definitely proved it in this game, though it was against Orlando. However, I think he looked pretty solid at quarterback, probably one of the top guys in the league. San Antonio looks like they're legit. Arlington Renegades, Houston Roughnecks, the game of the week. That was a Sunday night game on ESPN2. Arlington 14, Houston 23. Houston is the top dog in the league. There's no doubt about that. You know, what can you say? Houston is still undefeated, 7-0. Next week's games, you got Seattle Sea Dragons at Vegas Vipers. St. Louis, my friends in St. Louis, coming down to D.C., 2 undefeated teams. This is going to be on FX. Orlando Guardians at Renegades. I think we'll know who's going to win that. That one's on FX. And then Brahmas at Houston Roughnecks could be a game. Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. That could be a game. So we got 3 games on Sunday, 1 on Saturday. So let's hear from some of the players and coaches this past week.
On the game, and then I'll hit you with a couple questions here real quick.
Yeah, just another great win. Just battling, and that's the awesome part about it.
A.J. McCarron.
This team has a
talking about the
attitude, and time's on the clock. We think we can win. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
What was the difference between the start of the game and then when you guys were able to really start moving the ball later as things progressed?
I mean, we just got to find a way to get in a rhythm quicker. But it's a game of football. Like, but the good thing is it's not how you start; it's how you finish. So we finished pretty well the last 2 weeks, and having this long week before we go to DC is going to be good to get some guys healthy and get ready to go.
Essentially, it was 48 hours to prepare for this game.
For sure. The tough part was coming into this week was the fact that you didn't have any on-field practices really. Like everything was walk through, and the fact that you kind of lose timing in the passing game, you're going to lose some timing when you're not on the field going full speed. So it was tough, guys with injuries, but we pulled it out.
Take us through just what's going through your head as you're preparing for that kick.
I mean, I've been in that situation before, so it's mostly just mental, just
Battlehawks kicker.
staying calm and relaxed and just knowing it's just another kick, not thinking about it being the last kick of the game, just taking it as another kick and going through my steps of being in the net, doing what I need to do, and just staying focused and just banging.
And I guess, can you talk about just, that kicker's mentality of having a short memory where whatever happened before doesn't?
Yeah, that really played a part in today, I'd say. The first kick, unfortunately, they gave us a QB ball on that kick. I don't know what they were doing on that sideline, but almost every single field goal, they were trying to get a QB ball in there instead of a kicker ball. I don't know why. Nobody else seemed to have a problem with that. But, yeah, the first kick, just had a QB ball, hit out the upright, hit it weird. And obviously came up short on the 50, just wanted to hit it straight. And I did. I thought I had enough, but that cold weather and those really light XFL balls that we have just didn't make it there. But, yeah, I had to stay up. Coach Beck came up to me when Seattle was driving on their last drive before they scored a touchdown. He came up to me and said, "Hey, you're going to have one more kick. Be ready." I said, "Yes, sir." So I went down, warmed up a little bit, and just stayed ready mentally and physically.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
That's great.
Played a really good first half. For whatever reason, the second half, these last 2 weeks have been our kind of Achilles heel. I'm at a loss for words.
Ben DiNucci,
when you play
Seattle.
2 games in a few days, and both games come down to the last play.
Well, we're just going to keep working and emphasizing, ball control, and we do drills all the time and practice, and we're just going to have to keep emphasizing it, and hopefully they learn from it.
It was a great crowd, great atmosphere. Pretty cool getting to come up here and play in front of a home crowd. The thing is, we got 8 games left, and we've got the guys on this team to do it.
You break down you guys' performance this afternoon against a very tough Roughnecks defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a frustrating performance all around. We're on the same page.
Drew Plitt.
Start to finish. Had a couple drives where we were able to score thanks to the defense, but we got to be better as an offense. I got to be better, be able to just command of the huddle.
I think the defense played their ass off, and we just got to be better on offense to help support those guys and just be fluent and efficient. And that's really all we could do on offense is be consistent and be persistent in what we do.
LaJuan, can you talk about how your first half performance causing fumbles and also scoring a touchdown?
It's not really much to say there. I just like to win. And we were down. Somebody needed to make a play, and why not me? So that's really how I feel. Offense, defense, special teams, like wherever it's at, I just want to go out there and play my ass off.
Winningham, wide receiver.
My mom in the stands. I got to go make plays.
Coach talked about improving the blocking going forward. You guys gave up 5 sacks. Can you talk about the ability to be able to work on you guys blocking as well as improve the offense moving forward?
Yeah, a lot of that's on me too. As a quarterback, I'd be able to get the ball out quicker, and use my feet too to make plays. Didn't do it enough today, so I'm not going to put that on the guys up front. They're playing their hearts out. I got to be better for them.
And he's being nice. He takes that little fall. We got to get open to help him out. So, I mean, it's just all around. All 11 guys got to do their job at the same time. So if we could get open faster, we could help him, then he could help the O-line, and everything else will just start flowing.
With it being the second week of play, are you all still learning each other? Is it still that continuity issue that's going on?
Yeah, there definitely is a little bit of continuity that we got to learn, but we're getting along pretty well. I think it's just coming together as a group of 11 players. You know, we got to be able to be on the same page along with the coaches, top to bottom. Being all 11 of us on the field, being on the same page with the coaches off the field, that's going to be tremendous going forward.
What about the play here in Houston, where you grew up? Was there any feelings about that coming in today?
Definitely. I had a nice number of people in the stands rooting for me, rooting against me. So I mean, I just had to go out there and be able to play, and it was nice to be able to have people here supporting me and watch me being able to play football still. So I mean, I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to be out here and playing football in Houston and just playing football in general. So I mean, it was nice. But
What does it mean to you that you get this opportunity to, you know, extend the career here? Continue the dream.
That's always the goal. I would like to make it back to the NFL, and I'd like to get them big checks and be out there. But it's one step at a time at the end of the day. So I know the only thing I could do is build my house and build it brick by brick and start where I'm at. And I just feel like, I mean, I'm out here. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to be out here playing football, running around healthy. So it's just do everything I can at that point. So it's on me. Appreciate it.
I knew Coach New when he was in New Orleans and when he was with the Voodoo. Talk about a little bit of what, because he had that pro experience, a little bit of the influence he had on you and what you're doing now.
Yeah, Coach New was great for me. You know, obviously coming from the league, he brought a lot of the stuff that we ran on offense at Ball State with him. So we ran a pretty similar offense to what we run here. A lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 11, jumbo sets, stuff like that. So we mixed it up a lot. So, you know, the transition to the pro style in the league was, you know, not a headache at all, just because I've been used to it for so long. Used to, you know, calling 2-minute drills, stuff like that. He really was helpful in that way, being able to get me ready for pro ball.
I know he'd be proud of you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I guess open a statement for us. Have an opportunity to be here in Vegas and to play against the Vipers.
DC coach Reggie
Barlow. Looking
Barlow.
forward to it. We thought, obviously, defensively, our guys came out and played extremely well. Did a lot of positive things, and offensively, we struggled. We moved the ball, but we just wasn't having the success that we wanted in the first half. But today's game was the epitome of team, staying in the fight, perseverance. Our offense did that, and we were able to get the victory. So we're proud of them for that, and got a lot of injuries, nicked up guys, so we got to figure that out and, you know, go from there.
So 2 in a row, 2 wins in a row. How's that? How the guys? 2 wins in a row. How do the guys feel about that?
I mean, obviously they're excited. It's you know, we always talk about one game and clear, win, lose, or draw. But you know, we talked about having the opportunity to be 2-0, going into our third game. 2-0 on our side in the Northern Division was a huge thing for us. So I'm glad the guys finished it off the right way, and now we get better and, you know, look forward to the next one.
Reggie, were points expected to be at a premium in a new league like this early in the season, or are you not surprised that defense is dominating throughout?
Yeah, I mean, as you look over the entire league, the defense have been extremely dominant. But hopefully the offense going into the third week, you're thinking things will probably start dwelling together, both for the offense in this league. I know there's a lot of good players, a lot of good skilled guys, but I mean, these defensive guys are, you know, they're performing at a high level right now.
Hey, Coach. Matty Fresh, Spring Ball Boulevard. What was the decision to ride with De'Aaron King there as the game went on? Do you guys more or less just kind of feed the hot hand and see who's taking care of business? Or did you decide in the rain that was the better option to go with and the Russian quarterback?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, we think the world of Tamu. Obviously, he's a good quarterback, and he was doing some positive things in the first half, but we knew coming out that we had to run the ball to establish the run. And much of that was going to involve quarterback runs as well. So we brought De'Aaron in. Similar to last week, it was the same type of deal. He came in. One of the things that's extremely important is those guys get along. They like each other, so it works. There's no, envy or anything like that. So both of them are good players, and we have to play them when we need them. And De'Aaron came in and did a good job.
The XFL Week 1 TV ratings are in. According to our Mike Mitchell, he's got the reporting. The TV ratings are here for the opening weekend of XFL games on ABC, ESPN, and FX. All eyes were on how the returning XFL would fare after a three very long year absent. The results? The on-field play and presentation was fantastic. The league is more immersive as ever from a fan/viewership aspect. However, capturing the same viewing numbers in 2020 didn't really happen. So first up, the opening weekend TV ratings. So on Saturday afternoon, February 18th on ABC, between the Arlington Renegades and Las Vegas Vipers, averaged 1.57 million viewers. The XFL's Saturday night simulcast on ESPN/FX featured the Houston Roughnecks and Orlando Guardians, and that averaged 751,000 viewers on ESPN and 390,000 viewers on FX, for a combined viewership average of 1.141 million viewers. The dual broadcasts were ranked 8th and 31st, respectively, out of the 150 cable TV shows in the 18 to 49 demo. All XFL 2023 games are also airing, reminder, on ESPN+, so viewership numbers for the streaming services were not made available at press time, and they usually don't like to give those out. Sunday afternoon's last-second thriller on ABC between the St. Louis Battlehawks and San Antonio Brahmas averaged 1.53 million viewers. The Sunday night Week 1 finale on ESPN saw the DC Defenders and Seattle Sea Dragons average 918,000 viewers. The telecast ranked 6th out of 150 cable TV shows on that all-important 18 to 49 demographic. The XFL faced stiff competition from the NBA All-Star Game, which got 3.7 million viewers on Sunday night. Tiger Woods and the PGA Genesis Open on the weekend with 2.8 million. And then, of course, the Daytona 500 Sunday afternoon on Fox, 8.1 million. So both the XFL and ESPN PR sent out releases on Wednesday afternoon touting the engagement figures for the league in Week 1. XFL opening weekend delivers world-class professional football for fans, driving significant engagement. 160 points total were scored in the 3 of the 4 games decided by 4 points or less. The linear broadcast peaked at 2.3 million on Sunday afternoon during the San Antonio Brahmas-St. Louis Battlehawks matchup on ABC. The powerful combination of XFL, league ownership, and Disney socials generated 300 million impressions, 235 million plus views on video. And this is what the XFL, the press release said. The 4-game slate, 1.3 million viewers across, average 1.3 million across the all-important demographics. ESPN's XFL coverage averaged 458,000 viewers. Weekend peaked, of course, from 5:45 to 6 p.m. with 2.3 million on ABC. The matchup was the most watched of the weekend, averaging 1.6. So you've got the ABC, the Vipers, Renegades, 1.5. Arlington, the Guardians, Roughnecks, 1.1. Battlehawks, Brahmas, 1.6. And then Sea Dragons, Defenders, 934,000 viewers. Of course, the Chasing the Dream documentary re-aired Saturday on ABC, leading into the first game of the season. That got 696,000 viewers. The episode also was available on ESPN+. The episodes will air on Thursday at 5 p.m. on ESPN2, and then it'll be available immediately on ESPN+. And then, of course, they'll use it on, I don't think they're doing it this week because it's not on ABC. So Mike Mitchell's Week 1 ratings analysis. One of the unique aspects of the XFL's return in 2023 is judging how the league not only measures up with current sports landscape, but also how the league matched up to the previous XFL iteration 3 years ago. A lot has changed in the viewing landscape since then, and think about it, it's only been 3 years. Viewing options, habits, and streaming world have expanded. There was no TikTok, really. Maybe there was. Immensely during that period. Even with new XFL has entered that lane. Every one of their 2023 games airs on ESPN+. In 2020, the XFL kickoff game averaged 3.3 million viewers. The peak viewership was 4 million. The intriguing part of that game was topped by XFL's Sunday afternoon network game on Fox, which averaged 3.39 million viewers. The largest audience for a non-NFL pro game since week 6 of the original XFL in 2001 at 3.67 million. Then there's also the matter of the XFL's neighbor in the space, the USFL, who aired games on Fox/ABC in 2022 and will do so again for the second season in April. The USFL's 2022 opening primetime simulcast game averaged a combined 2.95 million viewers on Fox and NBC, 1.52 million on NBC, and 1.4 million on Fox. The AAF, back in 2019, averaged 3.25 million viewers with their debut telecast on CBS. There are plenty of gray areas to focus on with the XFL's 2023 TV ratings from an opening week. The league's ratings showed in 2023 is a positive one, even if the numbers come nowhere near close to 3 years ago. The expectation and projections by industry insiders suggest that they wouldn't. The TV ratings, while respectable by the XFL, can be looked at as disappointment. The reason why expectations were lower was because this iteration of the XFL scaled back promotion and marketing. There was far less anticipation and buildup for the XFL 2023 than there was for XFL 2022. 100% agree with that. The buzz just wasn't there like it was 3 years ago. The new XFL has taken a somewhat more patient approach. While the 2020 version went all in hitting markets and ramping up their social media teams looking to make a strong first impression immediately, they also had two major networks promoting the league at the same time in 2020 with Fox and ESPN and ABC. With the XFL in 2023, which produced an engaging product in week 1, it's all about how they finish rather than how well they start. They never got a chance to finish the last time. The league's championship will air on ABC on May 13th. That telecast will be the ultimate test in measuring the XFL's success. They need to match or surpass what they did in the opening weekend to prove their long-time viability. One of the unique quirks of the XFL's broadcast schedule in 2023 is that the league will not have another ABC telecast scheduled until week 6 of the season in late March. XFL games during the stretch will air on cable through ESPN, FX, and ESPN2. As a result, the measuring stick for XFL TV ratings changes with no weekly network games as comparison tool for a while. The Week 1 results stay frozen until then. A significant factor in why Disney is back with the XFL is to help strengthen their live sports content library on FX and ESPN+, the overlooked component of the multi-year TV agreement. So Week 2 broadcast schedule with the Battlehawks Dragons, 9 p.m. on FX and ESPN+. Everything's on ESPN+. DC Defenders, Vegas Vipers, 8:30 was on ESPN. And then on Sunday, Brahmas Guardians are 4 o'clock on 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. And then Renegades at Roughnecks, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Really was hoping that that final game would be on ESPN rather than ESPN2. So we'll just have to wait. Each week will be interesting. Is the league going to build up its strength as the season goes on? Or is things going to taper off and then build up towards the end? Week 2, we'll have to find out. The St. Louis Battlehawks are opening upper 300 level for season tickets. Cacaw is the law in St. Louis with the team playing well and interest in the XFL building. It is no surprise that fans in the XFL's hottest market, St. Louis, want their game tickets. As was the case in 2020, season ticket sales jumped the first week of the XFL season. That was across the board, by the way, for all of the teams. And they did so again, of course, in the XFL 3.0 era. The team announced last week that the 300 level of the Dome in St. Louis is now open for season tickets. This announcement means that most likely very few season ticket packages are available on the lower level for the Battlehawks. They put this out there. According to Guy on the Mic on Reddit, he had some interesting things to say. He said, quote, in opening up section 339 to 343, St. Louis opened up 840 tickets. As of 4 p.m. Eastern, This was, hours after the announcement. 551 of them have been sold, or 65.5% of the available stock. Of note, at $40 per game per seat, St. Louis has pulled in over 110,000 just from those seats today. We'll be curious to see how aggressive they are in opening up additional sections and when and if single game sales open up for those areas as well. So back in 2020, according to former Battlehawks team president Kurt Hunziker, the team was gearing up to have a massive turnouts for its next home game against the LA Wildcats. That was before you know what. The city and fans could surpass that 2020 expectation with their home opener in 2 weeks against the Arlington Renegades. The game will be Sunday, March 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, right in that window where fans are used to and remember watching football games. Maybe that was a coincidence, maybe not. But we should be seeing a rockin' dome for the St. Louis Battlehawks when they open their season in just 2 weeks. The question is, are they still going to be undefeated? If they go in undefeated and then going up against Arlington Renegades, that could be quite the spectacle on television. Mike Mitchell has his power rankings for Week 2. Let's go right into it. Post-Week 2 power rankings. Number 1, no doubt about it, Houston Roughnecks. The Roughnecks are now technically, sort of, 7-0 in XFL play after topping the Arlington Renegades 23-14 on Sunday night. The unbeaten streak, of course, started in 2020 and continues. Wade Phillips' team, unsurprisingly, is a step ahead defensively, and the Roughnecks' offense under A.J. Smith continues to show a glimpse of league-winning potential. They are a team. There's no doubt about it. Number 2, the St. Louis Battlehawks, Cacaw. They're off to a flying start in their 2023 campaign. St. Louis has kicked off their return to the XFL with 2 thrilling come-from-behind road victories. Beck's bunch has shown a ton of resiliency. The Battlehawks have overcome back-to-back double-digit deficits, and their triumphant was a last-second 20-18 victory in Seattle just this past Thursday night. Great game there. Number 3, America's team, DC Defenders. In terms of style points, Houston and St. Louis may be ahead of DC on the scorecard. However, the Defenders, by hook or crook, still stand atop the XFL mountain with the elite after 2 weeks. Reggie Barlow's Defenders squad found a way to win after another game, this time in a unique confines of Cashman Field, outmuscling the Vegas Vipers 18-6. On to number 4, Arlington Renegades, 1-1. Initially entered the possibility of slotting Arlington down to 5th or even 6th, Mike Mitchell says, behind San Antonio and even winless Seattle, especially after Bob Stoops' squad squeaked by with a fluky Week 1 win and looked outmatched early on in Week 2 against Houston, falling behind 11-0. But Arlington battled back, made a game of things in a rough spot on the road, thanks mainly to 2 forced fumbles on special teams by wide receiver Lawan Winningham and brilliant adjustments by Jay Hayes and Tim Lewis defensively to slow down Houston's attack, but they still did not win. I'll throw in there, is Plitt the guy? Just throwing that out there. Is he a guy? You have Kyle Sloter. I don't know why Kyle Sloter's not in the game. That's just me. Number 5, San Antonio Brahmas. Hines Ward got his first professional victory as head coach. The Brahmas bounced back after a soul-crushing Week 1 loss in front of 24,000 fans in San Antonio. Week 2 was a much-needed rebound for Ward's squad, also helps them in San Antonio. Hey, these guys are legit. The Brahmas jumped out in front, got an outstanding balance from their offense, defense, and special teams, and outclassed a woeful Orlando team 30-12 in every respect. Jack Cohn could be a guy. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Seattle Sea Dragons 0-2. Based on their coaching, front office experience, and talent level, Seattle is the league's biggest underachiever after 2 weeks. The Dragons have burned themselves with multiple bonehead mistakes in the first 2 games. In their defense, Seattle has lost 2 crushing games in the final seconds to DC and St. Louis, who are a combined 4-0. But the Sea Dragons better start breathing some fire and blaze through some victories soon, or their 2023 campaign could flame out quickly. Vegas Vipers, number 7, have to agree with that, 0-2. We'll talk about the whole thing with the field later. Rod Woodson's Vegas team doesn't have a lot of lady luck on their shoulder. They lost in Week 1 without giving up an offensive touchdown, and in Week 2, they drew the wrong opponent in the Defenders, who were better equipped to play small ball and grind out yards. Brett Hundley showed a spark at quarterback, but his wide receivers, whether it was because of the elements or not, came up short, dropping multiple key passes during Saturday's game. I think they could be on their way. They're okay. Number 8. Sorry, Orlando. I love you. Thinking about going to a game, too. Guardians have lived up to their preseason projections. The projection was based on Orlando's poor roster construction by DPP Larry Lee and the inexperience and quality of the team's offensive staff. Tony Carter has held up reasonably well as Orlando's defensive coordinator, but the rest of the staff and decision-making schemes have been kind of awful in their first 2 games. We'll see if they put it together. Buckley was not happy about that. And Mike Mitchell puts it at number 9, Cashman Field. The playing surface at Cashman Field was anything but a field of dreams. No aspect of the XFL has been panned more this early season, and rightfully so, than what spectators saw on Saturday night at Cashman Field. And he goes on, it was just a bad scene on Cashman Field. We'll see how that just across the board. But anyways, so to recap what he's got here, he's got Houston Roughnecks are number 1, St. Louis Battlehawks 2, number 3, America's team, DC Defenders, number 4, Arlington Renegades, San Antonio Brahmas at 5, Seattle Sea Dragons at 6, Vegas Vipers at 7, and Orlando Guardians at 8, and 9, Cashman Field. Let us know what you think about, is this the right lineup? Has he got it all right between 1 through 8? Let us know in the comments. XFL Week 3 quarterback rankings from our man Pat Ruffino, the quarterback guru, after 2 weeks of the XFL season. And fans are beginning to see some consistency for some of the teams in Week 2. With Week 3 on the horizon, our quarterback rankings once again sees movement as teams begin to figure out what works and what doesn't. And you can catch his previous articles. Honorable mention, D'Eriq King. Rushing, he has only thrown 2 passes in the season, but King's ability to create a dynamic rush game for the defenders, especially in that whole muddy Vegas thing, helped catapult the defenders to a 2-0 record. So he gets an honorable mention. Also, another guy, Cole McDonald. Again, McDonald did manage to throw his first pass attempts in the XFL. It was his rushing ability that made him an asset in Week 2, adding 39 yards on the ground, opening up the rushing game for Houston's running backs. There you go. So let's start. Number 10, who was previously 3, Luis Perez. 1 of 5, 0 passing yards, 1 rushing attempt for 9 yards. Did not look way. It didn't get him, of course there's the weather conditions. They had Brett Hundley on the bench. Going into Week 3, it's clear if the Spring King will see the field. It's unclear, I should say, if the Spring King will see the field or is Brett Hundley taking over. But Luis Perez drops from 3 to number 10. DeAndre Francois, unranked before, he comes in at 9, 6 for 13, 8 passing yards, 1 touchdown, interception, 4 rushing attempts for 14 yards. Made his debut. First appearance in outdoor football since the Spring League in 2021, but not great results. We read the stats there, but Orlando seems to be kind of a mess. But I think Francois going forward probably is the guy. We'll see what happens in Week 3. Hundley, Vegas Vipers, previously unranked, 11 for 18, 98 yards, no picks, no TDs, 5 rushing attempts for 24 yards. Did have a fumble. So he was kind of thrown into the fire on his debut against the DC Defenders, who have a good defense. But teammates got drop balls, unfamiliarity with the playbook. It was the rain. We couldn't give him a pass, but he did look pretty decent for what he got. I think Hundley could be the guy going forward. He's got him at number 8. Number 7, Jordan Ta'amu. Previously ranked 9, he moved up. 11 for 23, 93 yards, 12 rushing attempts for 68 yards, but he had 2 fumbles. Again, let's talk about the throwing of the game. No one really threw the ball well, and it was, the conditions. We'll see how things transpire in Week 3 against the St. Louis Battlehawks, but there's a potential that we could see, could D'Eriq King be the guy? Or are we going to go? I think Ta'amu gets, he's a spring football veteran. I think he gets 1 more week with this kind of D'Eriq King coming in and clean up or to give the team a spark. I give him the first half And if he's not doing well, we'll see what happens. But Jordan Ta'amu at number 7. Number 6, Paxton Lynch, 9 of 19, 79 passing yards. Did throw a touchdown in the beginning, 1 rushing attempt for 9 yards. But again, this is the Guardians. Inconsistent workload, play calling, all kinds of stuff going on with Orlando. Is it him? Is it, the play calling? Orlando is kind of a mess, but he was ranked 7. I believe he probably will start to drop down too. Drew Plitt, a guy that we were kind of high on, the team was high on, 15 of 30, 120 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 rushing attempts for 14 yards and a fumble. Is he the guy? You have Kyle Sloter on the bench. While Plitt did improve in week 2, he ultimately could not cash in on some easy throws and at times looked jittery in the pocket due to Houston's dynamic pass rush. With growing frustration from Renegades fans mounting, it may not be long before we see Kyle Sloter under center if Plitt continues to struggle moving forward. Sloter was an MVP candidate in the USFL. I think they were high on Plitt. I think give him some chance behind, but I would, if I was them, I'd put Kyle Sloter in under center for week 3. You don't want this to get away from you too soon. Number 4, Ben DiNucci, ranked number 4, 19 of 29, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 8 rushing attempts for 38 yards, but he got another fumble. Did play pretty well, but that late fumble was again his Achilles heel. With the emergence of Jack Cohn, DiNucci remains 4 in this week's rankings, despite leading his team to what could have been a go-ahead score late in the 4th quarter against the Battlehawks. DiNucci and Seattle seem to be at times facing some miscommunication. Who knows what's going on there? He's got a nice stat line. I think he's a guy. They just haven't put it quite together yet in Seattle. You look at some of the Seattle wide receivers, they're putting up pretty decent, nice numbers. Jack Cohn, number 3, totally agree. He was ranked 5th. Now he's at number 3, 16 of 24, 169 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 3 rushing attempts for 23 yards. Played a turnover-free game in his second start as professional, 30 to 12. He showed way more confidence despite being playing behind 2 backup offensive tackles, managed to show poise. He could be a guy. He looked like a guy. Again, he is playing. He was playing Orlando, but still, Cohn looked great and looked to be a potential star in the XFL. He's at number 3. Brandon Silvers, veteran guy, 14 of 28, 173 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, minus 7 yards rushing. Had some difficulty in the second and third quarter getting comfortable after a dynamic first-half performance. While Cohn statistically performed better, Silver still managed to provide competitive and solid quarterback play despite less opportunities due to special team blunders, leading to a quick 14 points by the Renegades. Ultimately, Silvers made the throws that counted and managed to play turnover-free, and that's kind of what we want. With the struggles of Luis Perez evident, it appears Silvers may be usurping the title of Spring King as the alt-football veteran continues to progress in A.J. Smith's offense. They look like a good offense, and they got a great combo with him and Cole McDonald. Number 1, the guy, A.J. McCarron. Everybody's talking about him. 22 of 36, 184 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, 41 yards on the ground and a rushing TD. Brought the team back. He's done it again. He's got wide receivers. He looks good. He looks to be the face of the franchise. And with the face of the franchise, not only for the Battlehawks, but also for the league. Great story. We'll see if he can continue. But he is number 1 last week, was number 1 this week. And there you have all of the Pat Ruffino's rankings for this week. No shocker here. The XFL and Under Armour announced a partnership. So today, they announced an expansive multi-year partnership with Under Armour, in which Under Armour has been named a founding corporate partner for the league, whatever that means. Under Armour will provide resources, services, and support for XFL businesses and initiatives, including official uniform partner, which was previously announced, official sideline apparel partner. We've seen some of the cool jackets they were wearing. Official performance apparel partner, cool. Official youth football partner, nice, and preferred footwear partner. Am I going to have to get some Under Armour XFL shoes? Under Armour's state-of-the-art performance and driving solutions and consistent pursuit to empower athletes who strive for more will benefit all aspects from the league through the partnership. An industry leader, innovative, high-performance athletic. We all know who Under Armour is. In addition, Under Armour will work with the XFL to help support the league's youth football and grassroots initiative, cool, including Under the Lights flag football. I forgot all about that. That's something that I think they will be doing during the summers. That could provide some content and interesting things for this 365-day kind of vision that the XFL has, furthering both organizations' commitment to increasing access to sport athletes at all levels. It would be interesting if they, cool with the ESPN, they haven't announced it yet, I just kind of thought of it now. What if the XFL did some kind of flag football kind of thing during the summer to add some more content out there for ESPN? Under Armour will also participate in the league's hospitality offerings by hosting fan activations to bring fans closer to the action and enhance the game day experience. A bunch of quotes there. Project Rock, they've worked together for a long time. Under Armour will also support the league's digital media servers and has been granted rights to XFL league-wide logos, team logos, and word marks, as well as player partnership rights and XFL venue access for content development. Quote, appointing a founding corporate partner, particularly one that is fan-facing and integrated with the league's commercial initiatives, is an important piece of determining the trajectory of the league's brand and a key factor in player, staff, and fan experience, Russ Brandon, XFL president, said. Under Armour has an impressive legacy as a football brand and only delivers the highest quality product, making them a uniquely qualified and well-suited partner for the XFL. At Under Armour each day, marketing, hey, we bring things to the next level, blah, blah, blah. It will be interesting to see where this partnership goes. And there's some words in there that they talk about, with the players. And, we're going to get player-only merchandise. Like, can you get a Tamu Under Armour shirt? Or, and they got the footwear and the flag football. So no shocker here that the XFL and now has a partnership. But now this is an interesting one because it's a multi-year partnership and it's a founding corporate partner, whatever that means, but I'm sure it's important. The Under Armour is part of the XFL. No surprise there. All right, we'll be back with your social media stuff and so much more right after this. Stay tuned. Get ready for the biggest XFL season yet with RunTheSims.com, your ultimate toolkit for XFL DFS and prop betting. With DraftKings offering XFL contests with huge prize pools, you want to have the best tools and player projections at your fingertips. And Run the Sims delivers with their lineup optimizer, showdown simulator, and expert pick'em tools for prize picks and underdog. So here's the deal. Use code NEWSHUB for 10% off a monthly or weekly spring football subscription and get access to accurate projections to help you make informed decisions and make that money. That's runthesims.com. Use the promo code NEWSHUB for 10% off. So if you followed spring football and in the past, you know the information edge can be massive. So if you want to win big, subscribe to runthesims.com and use the promo code NEWSHUB today to save 10% off. All right, my friends, we are back. What's up, everybody in the chat room? Zaid says, looking good. Thank you. Don, checking in. Kaka, as always, old school boxing talk. The football is starting to get better. That is why I would like to see a 12-game season be close to first. 4 games are like their preseason, and they're working out the kinks. There was chatter that there might have been talk of a preseason game, but none of that happened there. So we'll get into your social media stuff. So again, our question of the week, we'll get to that. Oh, let me see. Oh, where did it go? Question of the week. And let us know what you think in the chat as I'm switching things around. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Oh, where was our question of the week? Oh, reaction to week 1. So give me one high and one low point in the comments right now, and we'll get to see what you guys think in the comments. So also make sure if you like football, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. Blowing up. All of our social media stuff is blowing up. It's been a lot of fun, but you know what's fun? We need to name ourselves. Like, what are we called? What is our deal? What is your deal? What do you want to call? What should we call ourselves? So to put a little poll out there, This is on the YouTubes. And I said, okay, XFL fans need a name. What do we call ourselves? Let your voice be heard. Leave a comment if you have another idea. So here are the 4 options that we have. XFL Army, which is what I used to call it in 2020. 54th Nation. I really like that one. Also, XFL Nation and XFL Universe with 279 votes. XFL Nation is the winner with 49%. So that is what the poll says on the YouTube, that we should call ourselves XFL Nation. Some other people put in their comments. Randy on the key said the football degenerates are just TFDs. Richard Lawrence says, I don't think we need a name. We don't have to go around labeling everything, do we? Oh, come on. You can take it a little too seriously there. We're just trying to have some fun. Like, what do you call, your group of friends? Or, you have the Dog Pound, and you've got, Steeler Nation. And, so it's like XFL Nation. Like, this is us. Like, this is our crew. Pentatonic Soldier says, when I hear Nation, reminds me of the Raiders. Nah, I'm good. Okay, all right. Killenser Klutz said, always felt like the hardcore XFL fans were like brothers in arms. Yes, exactly. We are hardcore fans, XFL fans. We appreciate, that's what we are. And so we like the teams. We like everything. Just remember, if you're a troll, you're not welcome in the XFL Nation. Other than that, we are welcoming, fun bunch. You go to away games. You thank the fans that from the away teams that there. You don't heckle them. I saw some knuckleheads in my section, a bunch of 2 drunk dummies that were just yelling at players. I kind of give this guy a look like, what are you doing? And he just kind of like looked at me and like walked away. So, none of that garbage. We're here to have a good time. You want to yell at players and do all this other stuff, go yell at your mama. You talk to your mom like that, then you can talk to players like that. But I know you don't. So that those jabron, we don't want those kind of jabrones as part of the XFL Nation. XFL Nation is welcoming. We like everybody, whether you're from Canada, the United States, Mexico, Australia, who cares? If you're coming in from out of town or you're a fan of another team, we like you too. Like, we're all just about supporting the XFL. None of this kind of like Philadelphia or, some of these baseball teams where it's like, I'm going to murder somebody. Hockey games, this dude knocks out another fan just because he's wearing the other team's jersey. We're not about that. The XFL Nation is a welcoming, fun bunch. We got the beer snake. We got Cacaw. Remember, it's important. You guys, me here, us at XFL News Hub, and you guys out there, we're setting the tone of what it means to be an XFL fan. And we need more cool people and chill people and fun and warm and welcoming people in this world. Then we need more of these jabron fans in these other leagues. Just kind of pointing that out. That's kind of my whole point of this stuff. It's like, you're part of XFL Nation, you're cool. If you're a troll, you're not welcome. Get out. Let's use XFL Universe. That sounds good. Meh. That's Hitman. Let's see. The Wads says, none of these. Okay. The Chuckster 22 says, XFL fans. Jared says, Vince's Army. Yes, long live the king. Vince Army. Miss Felon Strudel says, back off Army that was taken since with the 1976 Kiss Army. I say Universe as a nod to its creator. That's where one of the reporters at XFL News Hub, Tristan, I think it was, somebody mentioned Universe after WWE. Arctrix, whatever, some other stuff is not complicated. X-fans. Yeah, we mutants playing football. All right, I like that one. On the Twitter, just to confirm, we had, this is 279 votes. On Twitter, switch to the Twitter. There we go. On the Twitter, XFL Army, 17.2%. 54th Nation, I really like that one, 27.3%. XFL Nation, 42.5%, and XFL Universe, 13%. 553 votes. So there you have it. XFL Nation it is. There's our democratic way of doing it. DFS, Mark Hogan says, just let me know what is decided and I'll do my best to make it trend. Love XFL Nation. District X says, big fan of X-Force. Okay. NYC Montauk Lobster. Shout out to my boys in Long Island, XFL fans. Okay, not very fun. Artillery Scott says, in D.C., there are called the Lemonheads. The people who build the beer snake be called Lemonheads? That would be kind of funny. Kawaki Alikti says 54th man roster nation. Okay, cool. I like that. Mac Customs says need a team in California. That wasn't the question. Shane says is the few. The proud still taken. We'll talk to the USFL military. XFL talk. Hashtag XFL Nation. The Manga Better says get rid of the FL, and I think it'll all sound better / be like more. Just X. I guess he's talking about X. Okay. Coach 31B. Let's get through the season first. All right, he's being, he's just being a little, cautious. The Wrestling Ace, he had the best one. Wrestling Ace had the best one by far. He says, hear me out. It's very original. How about XFL fans? I thought that was original. And then Artillery says, ain't she a hot mess? But yeah, I like those. So there you have it. What is up? The birthplace of XFL Nation. That's who we are. All right. We have defined it. It's set in stone. When you're talking to your friends about being part of the XFL and what it is, well, if you're a fan of the XFL, then you just say you're part of the XFL Nation. You want to be part of the XFL Nation, and that's us, and that's cool. See, I'm a DC Defenders guy because I'm here in the DMV area, but I got DC Defenders, Seattle Sea Dragons, and I want to basically get everything I can, more merch and fun stuff. All right, question of the week, and I want to hear you guys in the chat, reaction to week 2. I think we're going to do this every week because this is really interesting because it gives opening up us to have a nice little conversation. Give me one high and one low in each of this week. Frank says best, the last 2 minutes of the Battlehawks Sea Dragons game, 100%. Worst, everything about Cashman Field in Las Vegas. I have to agree with you 100%. I didn't get much into this. I don't want to talk. I mean, I'm trying to be nice. I got a lot of people. People get mad at me all over, whether it's the USFL, XFL. If I do say something and I didn't even realize it or whatever, it just wasn't a good look, man. I mean, the scaffolding for this must have been like the last option on the list. Or you know what I mean? But I think it's one of the, and I was kind of laughing about it because I was like, wait, are you paying us, XFL, $10,000 a game, or we're paying you? And that's an old stadium. I had to put out a tweet because people were like, see, like it was still like 50% plus. A lot of these stadiums were like 60%. There's still fans that came out. The field was terrible. It was like one of those things. It was like the football gods that they talk about. It's like, so it's the first game there. When does it rain that long and that hard in Las Vegas? And I'm like, is somebody telling them like Vegas is not the place to be? And it would have been much easier. And the problem with the frustrating thing about Vegas was that in all reported things, the reason everything got delayed, the schedule coming out, was because of Vegas. And then this is what we get for all of that waiting for the tickets to come out. The marketing teams want to get going, but everybody's waiting for the season single tickets coming out. Did they have something on the table and they didn't? They want to be in Vegas. Clearly, this is definitely like a long-term play, and they just needed to get their foot in the door, and they really feel strongly about the XFL in Vegas. The other thing that was kind of interesting, and Mike Mitchell had touched on it in his article, you noticed, one of the things I'm thinking about is that the XFL is, they knew that the optics weren't good. The camera was wet, and I was like, man, if it starts thundering, like those people in the scaffolding now to get out, you don't want them to get zapped. They knew this was coming for a while. But he brought up the fact that the FX games, that it's basically, you had the major networks, ABC and ESPN. Now you're going to get, especially through March as the season goes on, there's a lot of games buried on FX. And I think that's part of the strategy is to, because we don't want to like showcase, we want to start the league, we want to get things going, but we need to like work out the kinks. So let's not like have a lot of eyeballs on us, because one of the problems, and they must have known this from the beginning too, is like, hey, it feels like they're in this for the long haul. The whole thing about Vegas and being in Vegas is definitely a long haul move, not a short-term move. The fact that marketing, and I mean, still, there's communications people, there's people getting hired like right now as we speak. I'm seeing new names all the time. They kind of waited until the last minute, because I think that's kind of the strategy going forward. Is like, we don't want to come out and be like all over everything, and then people, you only get one chance to make a first impression. They already knew that they had the XFL Nation, you guys, myself, writers from XFL News Hub, your podcasters out there, all the other XFL sites and everything. They already knew they had XFL Nation. So they just needed to put on the product really for XFL Nation. And as time goes on, more fans will kind of jump on board. That's kind of where I'm hoping things are. I'm trying to be the glass is half full rather than the glass is half empty. But man, the negativeness on Twitter came out. People were jumping for joy. And again, the story's not over yet. So settle down. On to the XFL's partnership with Under Armour. Ryan says, this is what the Rock and Danny bring to the table that Vince never could. Great partnerships and great marketing. Vince is a genius in the world of wrestling, but unfortunately, that is where his creativity and vision ends. Rock has his own line of clothing with Under Armour, which means the deal practically brokered itself. League official energy drink with Zoa is owned by The Rock. Their jerseys have his logo and blood, sweat, respect tagline on them. Dude is a genius and has a genius team around him. Yeah. We all knew this was coming. People want to partner with The Rock and Danny Garcia. I'm fine with, kind of making things about them because they are the most famous people in the league. I'm hoping that as time goes on, they kind of take a step back and the league can kind of take care of itself. Use the juice you have in the beginning to kind of, you're planting the seed for the XFL, but then, at some point you need to hand the reins over and let the players. AJ is a guy. Jack Cohen could be a guy. Kyle Sloter, I don't know why put him out there. Those are guys out there. Brandon Silver, Cole McDonald. You're talking the Houston thing. You got the Beer Snake. You've got Cause the Law. You've got things out there that they can ride on their own. So I'm hoping that that's kind of how things move going forward with the XFL. And it's not just about Danny and The Rock all the time. But it is right now, and it needs to be. So we'll see what happens there. About the, you see this Anthony Beck super excited there. About the tickets being sold. Edward says, being in St. Louis, this is awesome. Might have been cool to see more teams. Areas without NFL. Bet Oklahoma would have a good attendance. Maybe Arkansas, hopefully, if this thing lasts. Austin says, got my tickets. Let's go. Cacaw. Mark says, dear Stan K, Roger G, and the rest, this city deserved better. Dear XFL, thank you for believing in STL. Couldn't have said it better. Myself, Mark, and plus you have a great name, so I agree with you there. On the comments on YouTube, real quick before we get into our chats and phone calls and pictures and all sorts of stuff. On the YouTubes, Jack Fleming talking about last week, he says, people be like, the defenders got lucky. They're talking about week 1. He said, my brother in Christ, we threw lemons at them. Yes, you are. Thank you, Jake. You're a brother, too, in Christ. And, yeah, we're not lying. And Holmes Scoop says, cacaw, bunch of chickens. Yeah, we threw lemons at him. That's it. We did. Not going to lie about it. From last week's show, like 100%, you deserve it, bro. Oh, thank you very much. Kyle Zukin. RGK99. I was able to sit down and watch all 4 games in their entirety, so I caught up on the highlights. I think the gameplay in all 4 games was Really great and lots of dramatic athletic plays. I was disappointed that mainstream sports and YouTube channels didn't have much coverage. He's talking about week 1, but there was a lot of stuff going on there. But he, overall is good. Jay Dizzle, make your own podcast then. I've done podcasts for 3 years. These people need to shut up and make their own stuff. Steelers Nation Australia, checking in. Appreciate that. Curb Church, all right, 1714 says, Mark, keep doing you, brother. Social media is not network television. What you're giving us is awesome for all football fans. Bless you, man. Oh, thank you very much. About the games, I watched all 4. Loved it. The QB play was a little off, but they had no scrimmage line contact. The command center with Dean Blandino will become the way it's done in all leagues. I agree with there. That's been a big plus. All the team uniforms look cool, except Arlington. Sorry, baby blue all over doesn't work. Vipers, Unis, Brahmas, St. Louis, DCs look really good. Thank you. Greg says this was absolutely no reason for stadium security to disturb the beer snake. America loves the beer snake. Hey, Rock, the XFL is lit. I'm hearing Tom Lunderbill, the sportscaster on ESPN, he put out a tweet saying that the beer snake is on. Now, he must know something that we don't know. I haven't heard anything yet, so appreciate Tom out there. He's basically saying that the beer snake is on. Whatever issue is rectified. I don't know. We will see this Sunday. I will be there. Walters first, and then at the game. Badger Gurdon says, I don't understand why they didn't allow the beer snake. Free the beer snake. Gabriel, we're doing it live. Okay. And there you go with the YouTube stuff. All right. Let's get into, we got a lot of emails out here and a lot of some phone calls too. Let's hit a phone call first, shall we?
Hello, this is Norman Rickard. I was wondering if you could put out your power rankings from week 1. After week 1, can you put out your power rankings on the show? Thank you very much, and have a great day.
All right, Norman. Yeah, well, so every week on Monday, Mike Mitchell has it basically ready to go, his power rankings. We'll talk about it every week, all season long. Have no fear, my friend. Have no fear. Let's get to an email. Clint sent us a bunch of cool, little pictures of XFL logos. He says, hi, hope you're enjoying the kickoff to the XFL season. Love the content and the kickoff show. Always loved alternative football to NFL growing up with season tickets for the Chicago Rush of the Arena Football League. I even had a Chicago Enforcers shirt and some XFL cards that I still have. I was hoping that we were going to, I messaged Topps to be like, hey, we're going to get some XFL cards. So with that being said, my team this year is the Vegas Vipers with 2 good QB options, explosive wide receivers, and Vic Beasley leading the defense. Yeah, Vic Beasley, a guy. Definitely a guy, defensive guy in the XFL. With a defensive head coach, I think Vegas, Orlando, and the duo of DiNucci and Gordon in Seattle, this will be a powerhouses. Team I feel will struggle the most is Houston. They're built solid, but I feel missing X factors or a QB that will work. Clearly, this didn't age well. This was 10 days ago. He said, I'm a communication design student. I plan on starting a podcast and YouTube series on football jerseys and histories. All right. Came up with this logo concept. Would love to be part of your team, help out. Cool. We'll get in touch. But there you go. Clint checking in. Appreciate you there, my friend. Gus says reimbursement for past season ticket holders. Can I get reimbursed? New York Guardians guy, you're going to have to reach out to Ticketmaster for that one. I don't know. I thought that kind of stuff was resolved. Advanced stats. Tyler says, hey, I'm loving the league. I'm wondering if there's place tracking advanced level stats for the league, snap counts, target shares, and some of that 22 type of film to rewatch the XFL. Push me in the direction. So we have our stats. We have the XFL stats on our site. I do believe the XFL finally has a stats section, and it's got some more advanced stuff in there. So check out the XFL site for more of that stuff. James checking in says, Mark, I always appreciate the XFL News Hub. Attendance for the first week, I think, was solid. 12,004 was the lowest attendance. Post-pandemic is still a factor. San Antonio drew 24,000 plus. Their games in AAF were upper 20s, but I'm optimistic for sure. Attendance in San Antonio was a great start for XFL 3.0. I agree with you there. They did have to can their events person because apparently it was a little squirrely. It'll be very interesting in the attendance in Seattle Thursday night. That was not very good. He said predicting 25,000. I think it was 10,000. But the weather was terrible there. Battlehawks opener is at least 29,250 as of right now. At another road victory in Seattle, I am demanding XFL to open up the upper bowl of the Battle Dome, which they did. We did hear all about that. All right, let's get to another phone call, shall we?
G'day, guys. My name is Steeler Nation Australia. Massive fan from Australia for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Been following the Steelers now like, I don't know, 23 years, almost 24 years. I just want to give you guys a shout out on the XFL News Hub. Been watching you guys the last 2 weeks. Slowly getting into it, slowly getting into the XFL. What I want to say, man, I tell you what, I think it's fantastic. This football league, for me too, like watching from Australia, it's fantastic. When the NFL season's over, you got to wait 6 months to see more football. And now we have the XFL, so I can watch the XFL. I've chosen my team to be the San Antonio Brahmas because of Hines Ward, and I'm cheering on as well Rod Woodson and the Vegas Vipers. But there is also 20-odd players in the league, like Montavious Bryant, Kalen Ballage, Eli Rogers, that used to play for the Steelers. So there's 20-odd guys that are in the XFL. So, yeah, want to give you guys a big shout-out and say thank you for listening to my audio. But pretty much, this is awesome. The XFL, to me, being a football fan, I don't know about other football fans, but knowing we have the NFL, you finish with the Super Bowl, then you have the XFL, and then we have the USFL. Hopefully in time and in the next few years, I can come over and see a game for the XFL, and maybe I can do a tour. I could do the XFL, USFL, and because I've got the Maulers too, the Pittsburgh Maulers. So yeah, shout out to you guys. It's really awesome to see what you guys are doing on this YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you very much. Checking in. Steeler from Australia. I like it. And of course, you're going to follow all the Steelers stuff. So my wife, part of her family is from Pittsburgh, so she's a Steelers fan. We have adopted, I was originally for the USFL, I was the Tampa Bay Bandits. I have a conspiracy theory about the USFL that I think they might open, Bandits might be back in Jacksonville with the Jacksonville Bulls. That's kind of my prediction. Not this year, but I think maybe in a year or two. But we picked the Pittsburgh Maulers. That's our team. And that's a Ravens fan. I got Ravens gear. I mean, we've got Ray Lewis. But yeah, we picked the Pittsburgh Maulers as our team too. Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun time if you're football fans, and they all kind of have a unique vibe to them. The XFL is different from the NFL. You can have fun. I mean, it's a weekend thing. You can watch one game. You can watch all four. It's more consumable with the NFL. I mean, there's all these 32 teams. That's a lot to consume. With the XFL, you only have 8, and you can kind of really start to learn the players and kind of follow their careers. So it is fun, and it's short. I mean, it's 10 weeks. This is week 2. Week 3. We're going into week 3 already. And by the time, we're going to get to week 5, the season's going to be halfway over. So, and it's short. Not like baseball season. It was 10 months. They're starting spring training practice now. And they're not going to be done till October. So, James says, Mark, 5 stars. Appreciate that. Robert sent us this. He's got some pictures. A lot of reaction to the beer snake. So he sent us these pictures, eliminated with the lemon, and then the Seattle Sea Dragons. He says, eliminated, about the Sea Dragons. Snake safety, pass the cup, don't throw. That's been my thing too. Don't throw the cup, just pass it down. Hopefully they listen to me. And he said, don't tread on me with the snake, and don't tread on the beer snake with the little DC defenders there. So appreciate Robert checking in. He's trying to help, man. He's trying to help. He's trying to help the cause. Trying to help the cause there. Steve says, are you XFL go Detroit or Pittsburgh build the team? No, that's the USFL, brother. USFL is doing that. James says, Mark, I always appreciate the hub. Rumors are flying that St. Louis will open in the America Center. Battle Dome are going to open up the Upper Bowl. They did. This was Friday. He sent this in. Upper Bowl is definitely an area that a lot of Battlehawk fans like to nest. Should the alternative name of the XFL St. Louis or the St. Louis Battlehawks be the Cardiac Cacaws? St. Louis Cardinals of the 70s were known as the Cardiac Cardinals. The Cardiac Cacaws. Could it be started right here? Yeah, I think that's a possibility. They have come from behind like crazy. Are you guys going to come from behind against the DC Defender? I'm worried. I am worried. I'll tell you that right now. With the offense, the way it looked the first two games, the defense is good. Greg Williams is a guy, so I'm not worried about the defense, the DC Defender's defense, but I am worried about the Battlehawks. And as a fan of the league, an interest in the success, it's tough because I would like to see the Battlehawks go home with their home opener undefeated. I think that would be fantastic for the league. I think it would be fantastic for ticket sales. But I gotta root for my team. But honestly, if the DC Defenders win, I'm happy because that means we got a squad, and hopefully it's a good close game. I'm also happy if the Cacaws, the Law, and the Battlehawks win because I think that's good for the league. So I'm playing both sides here. Let's see. Sylvia says, will you be listing and leading tackles on your player stats? No. That is all hand jam stuff, my friend. That is all hand jam stuff. So I'm not going through all that stuff. If we can get access to an API, that's a different story. But right now, it's all kind of hand jammed in there. So no. But I would love to. And maybe as time goes on, we do get something, we'll put that on the site. But again, you can get all the stats on XFL.com now. So we're good there. Walt checking in says it's now boom. Aircraft, not house birds. The reason is it's so the aircraft bomb buildings and they go boom. Battlehawk comebacks are the kaboom. Just when the enemy thinks they win, boom. Battlehawk storm, bomb, and win. It's now boom. Both are acceptable now, but it should be boom. When they come back, it's a boom. So there you go. Walt checking in. Appreciate your email there. Boom. Changing things up. Another Cacaw. Don checking in. Cacaw, my friend. 2 weeks of the 2023 season are now in the books. There are 3 undefeated teams, but only one of those has both wins on the road. Week 4 is the home opener for the Battlehawks, and the atmosphere will be crazy when they get there 3-0 after defeating your Defenders in Week 3. Like I said, I don't have a problem if we lose. I think that would be great for the league and the long-term viability of the league. Now, when we get to the playoffs, that's going to be a different story. But I think to shut the haters up, we need a strong St. Louis. He said, watching the game last Saturday between the Vipers and Defenders, I think the league did a good job communicating to both teams that on the field and communications would be cut to both teams when there was an issue, and they seemed to resolve it fairly quickly before the end of the half. I agree there. My biggest complaint right now about the televised game is that they are not displaying the line of scrimmage yard line in the banner. They have everything else, included the over-under, but not where the ball is spotted. That's interesting. I know you can make it out when the play starts, but it would be nice to have on display. Other than that, it's all good. I look forward to next weekend with a single game on Saturday and a busy 3-game Sunday. Cause the law. Don, checking in. Appreciate that, Don. It's going to be a good game. I will be there. My wife will be there. We will be at Walters before. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make the St. Louis DC Defenders game. My wife and I were talking. We're going to be in Florida, so there's a chance. And I have people in Florida to go to Orlando Guardians. I believe it's the Orlando Guardians. Might be Battlehawks Orlando Guardians. It's in April. That's going to be an up in the air thing about going to. We got to see, with the ratings not the way they were in the first go around. That means the revenue that was expected was not there either for us friends at XFL News Hub. So now I'm like, okay, I got to pay some bills before I think about traveling anywhere. And at least with going down to Orlando, we're going to be there anyway for vacation, and there's going to be a game there. So we were thinking about Orlando. Would love to go to hang out with my Cacaw friends in St. Louis. Really want to, but the revenue is just not there. It's just not there right now. I got to pay bills first before I can spend some money to go down there. But appreciate it. Don always checking in. Let's get on to another phone call, shall we?
Hey, Mark, I just want to let you know, XFL fan here, watching the Houston game versus Arlington there, and I was an Arlington fan. Pitt's not the guy. I mean, how do you barely make any throws over 10 yards? It's bad. Like, I thought I was watching Nelson again. It was from 2020. Just awful. I mean, there is no way with how, like, the score, in my opinion, doesn't reflect how good the Renegades defense actually played. They had some good turnovers, and our special teams are good. I'm just mad at our offense. When you can't throw the ball over 10 yards, I mean, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And to me, it's like you got to switch up QBs. And that was embarrassing. There is no way they should have lost that game. I don't blame the refs. I don't blame anybody else. I'm just like, how do you have a QB that can't complete a pass over 10 yards and expect to win? That's just atrocious. Being very point blank, I got nothing but respect for Houston. They played a good game, took advantage of every opportunity that Renegades made. You got to change things up. How is a guy that can't complete a ball over 10 yards the starting quarterback? To me, that just seems like a major problem. Anyway, hope you have a great day. God bless. And that's just my review of the game. Renegades definitely got to make a switch of QB. Maybe I'm being too harsh, and maybe you can prove me wrong, but I mean that was just brutal.
That is not me.
Hey, Mark, I just want to let you know, XFL fan here, watching the Houston.
All right. Appreciate the phone call. I was trying to set stuff up. I even brought back Nelson. I was like, what, Nelson? Oh, wow. That's I forgot about that guy. I'm with you. Kyle Sloter. I tell you, who's USFL leading. He was the MVP until he got hurt. He played well in the NFL preseasons. Wise Plitt, but they're high on Plitt. You heard Jonathan Hayes on our podcast a couple weeks ago. They're high on Plitt. I think they'll give him one more week. If it was me, I would have already had Sloter in the beginning of the season. But I think they'll give him one more week, maybe on a short lease. We'll find out. But I mean, everybody in the NFL football world is always like they think the backup quarterback is going to be a guy. I mean, you look at Paxton Lynch and you're like, well, bring in DeAndre Francois. And they did, and he didn't really do much. He didn't spark the team. I mean, D'Eriq King came in. He ran the ball. I mean, he didn't even throw a pass. He sparked the team, but is he a playmaker guy that Jordan Ta'amu is? In the case of, and you're talking about Vegas, Brent Hundley is a guy that one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and once he gets accustomed to things, so you'd be like, yeah, you want to bring him in. And Plitt could be a guy, but maybe not this year. I would go with Sloter, man. I've been high on Sloter. I thought he would definitely start. Did you see something? Sloter liked a tweet that said that why isn't he in or something like that. I don't know. There's a little thing about that. We're going to cover that all this week on XFL News Hub. Let's get to some of our pals in the chat room. Carson Wentz, Commanders, coming to the XFL. No. Didn't have no interest in him. Come on. Oh, is this thing stuck? Oh, there we go. Oh, tons of stuff here. All right, I'll just kind of go through this real quick. Appreciate everybody in. Nicholas, Shane checking in. Chris, in the nation, as I'm talking about. Old school boxing talk. I like both leagues, so I'm just a football fan. That's the way you should be. Don't troll people on Twitter and being like, oh, this one stinks. We're better than you. Or you're terrible. Ha, ha, ha. You're going to, don't need that stuff. Jose says San Antonio St. Louis fans are carrying the league right now. Yeah, they are. And they were new, and that's the frustrating part about Vegas. Having a team in San Diego was a piece of cake. That was a no-brainer. LA Wildcats, San Diego Wildcats. They wanted to have I think it's because Redbird Capital wants to do business and be a business entity in Las Vegas because they feel like it's an up-and-coming place, which, it is. So hopefully they can build relationships and things will work out well for the XFL going forward. But where are they going to play in the next 3 years? They're going to play 3 years in that stadium? They want to play in my backyard? I don't have that enough space, but you know what I'm saying. James says, me too, old school boxing, more football is better for everyone. Agree with that. Chris says Cashman wasn't that bad. Depleted Mind said go Brahmas. Nicholas, seeing St. Louis open up the 300 seats. Yeah, I'm talking about that. Herb says worst San Antonio with no home game this week. They already had a home game. They're fine. Nicholas says, I will say watching the Vegas versus DC game has literally had a college-type feel like MAC conference, but still. It was fun. I mean, I was a little like, oh. I mean, it was just the field conditions and the kickers slipping. I was like, no, we don't need that. I really wish that there was no rain. I mean, even the lighting was kind of like cheapo. Why are you going to invest? You could tear that thing down and build something nice. I don't know. Just I get it, but I don't get it. Rookie_X4. I think Vegas Vipers should have been called Nevada Vipers. Okay. Josh says Orlando is the lowest point of the XFL weekly, just trash. Yusuf said, what's up, Mark? How you doing, Yusuf? We'll see. I mean, Terrell Buckley was pissed, man. He was pissed. We'll see. Damon says the beer snake is stupid. Damon, I think we know what you might have a little issue there. You might be a little here. If you think the beer snake gets you. XFL Nation. Chris is down with the XFL Nation. DJP, Day One Guardians fan since 2020. Oh, my guy. New York Guardians fans now down with the Orlando. I mean, they could turn it around. It's not over yet. Chris says Vic Beasley, number one. Yeah, one of the top defensive guys. He's a guy. He is a guy. No question about that. We'll see what kind of changes Terrell Buckley makes with the roster and guys not trying and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I think he was like, this is going to be an interesting week. We saw already the DC Defenders needed a center. They brought Bruno back played with the Battlehawks. He was in the USFL. He was the center for Jordan Ta'amu in Tampa. He's going to be back. Now, he's probably not going to play this week because he just got back. But there's going to be some player movement. Stay tuned. I mean, Monday is their off day. Tuesday is kind of a slow day. Wednesday kind of kicks things back up. JB says, Sea Dragons fan, I just lost him. Oh, I think we should trade DiNucci for Huntley. If it wasn't for the costly turnovers, Seattle could have won both games. I think DiNucci will come around, and I think he will. I think he's fine. You got a guy. Seattle Sea Dragons, don't worry. DiNucci is a guy. He will get it. He'll be fine. Huntley, Vipers, you had a good game that first week. Hopefully this Vipers, it was aberration. We'll see what goes there. I'm worried about the Orlando Guardians being the Pittsburgh Maulers of the XFL. We'll have to kind of see how that goes. And I thought Paxton Lynch was a guy that they put on that team. Like, here's a veteran quarterback. He'll do fine. But we'll have to see. And they got some good USFL guys, fan control football guys on there, so I'm rooting for him. D-Tom America, I like both the USFL and XFL. It gives over 800 players a chance to play pro football. I just want the seasons not to overlap. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. Eric says, are the LA Lights getting a new stadium in the next few years? This may be worth it. One of the things, what was I thinking? When it comes to, I totally forgot what I was going to think. When it comes to, I was going to say something about something, and I can't remember. Anyways, appreciate everybody in the chat room, as always. Remember, we're going to have a Thursday show. It's not going to be live. We're going to be doing that one recording. It's got a family thing going on and friend things going on that day. So that will be recorded. We'll get you DFS. I think you'll see a lot of player movement this week and some more names. Oh, one of the things that I'm kind of with my knock on ESPN's coverage and just kind of the overall vibe is that like everybody's playing to get an NFL contract. Okay, so out of the 400 and something players in the XFL, at best, 100 guys are going to get maybe an NFL look? Maybe 50 guys get an NFL look on an NFL roster. There comes a point when we also need to transition and say, hey, or you can have a great career in the XFL and play a couple years and be a guy. I mean, the money is outstanding, and that hopefully the money situation now that the XFL goes through its first year, they're going to have to compete with the USFL and make some changes and how they kind of work that, whatever. But what's bad? What's so wrong about having a good XFL career? I mean, are you kidding me? Right now, let's say AJ McCarron goes, wins the XFL championship, okay, and maybe gets a sniff or two in the NFL, but just says, you know what, I'm good. I'm 30 years old, whatever, 31, whatever he is. I'm just going to play 2 more seasons in the XFL, and maybe wins another championship along the way. And the XFL is a brand that now is 10 years out. Like, all right, everything is going good. He's going to be doing games for ESPN. He's going to do college football games. And then he's going to be able to do XFL games on the weekends because he's going to be a guy that everybody wants to meet, because he was the XFL guy. Think about Tommy Maddox, Rod Smart, He Hate Me. PJ Walker is a guy that he played 5 games. Cam Phillips, wish he came back to the XFL instead of being in Toronto. Congratulations, you won a great couple. We'd love to see you here. So, I mean, there's a couple of things that as time goes on, we got to stop focusing on guys getting called back to the NFL. I mean, that's the connection right now. I think the narrative at some point, maybe, by week 8 or something like that, is like, hey, this guy could be a good XFL player for a long time and have a nice little career there. I mean, you are paying 10 weeks making 50 something grand, and that's not bad, or whatever, 13, whatever it is, maybe half a year's worth of work. I mean, you're making 50 grand. That's not bad, So it's just something to kind of keep in mind and kind of focusing on the players and kind of less about the Danny and the Rock. I understand that that's what we need to do now, but I just get a little leery sometimes that it's always, at least when the ESPN coverage on like XFL Today show, I watched that one, and they're kind of focusing on like, well, the NFL, the NFL aspect to it, and I get that now, but again, maybe as time goes on a little bit, just having a nice career in the XFL, playing 4 or 5 years in the XFL, and being a guy if this league lasts. So just something to think about. Just something to think about as I'm kind of just thing. Chris says, Slaughter to the Guardians. Herb says, listening to the coaches and players is second to none. Yeah, that's cool. And the replay stuff. Trading Slaughter to the Guardians. That is not a bad idea. And he's a guy. He should be playing. Why not, what about Brian Scott? I mean, nobody apparently wanted him, was kind of the word. It was like they tried to trade him and no one wanted to do it, but now that kind of things have flushed out, you got Slaughter. Can you do like draft picks or something? Eric says the XFL today was brutal. They are trying way too hard. So many better creators online than there are on that show. No comment from me, my friend. No comment from me. But I mean, a lot of these guys, they're learning about the XFL now. We've been in the XFL since 2018, so it's going to be different. But yeah, I mean, some of it is like, I mean, I get the names wrong too, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I said like, Pat Ruffino, Mike Mitchell, Evan Wilsmore, like Anthony Miller. We got guys on here. Have them be part of the show. These guys know the league in and out. Me, the super nerd, I know it too. A little bit. All right, my friends, that's it for this week's show. Appreciate you stopping by. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, like our friend from Australia, you can email us, podcast@xflnewshub.com. He just recorded something on his computer, sent it over. It sounded great. Or you can leave a voicemail, 888-430-7692, extension 3. Or maybe you want to leave snail mail or a little bird, put the little thing on the bird and have the bird fly over. You want to do that too. Always appreciate it if you leave a review on Apple Podcast, and you can watch our show live at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday and Thursday. We're not live this week because we got family stuff. You know how it is. But I will be back definitely next week as well. We're always live on Monday. That's a given. That has always been a given. And appreciate you guys, as always. Been a great show. Make sure you smash the like button. And we'll be back Thursday. We'll talk it up a little bit about DFS, fantasy. We'll be at Walters again on this Sunday for the early game. Super excited about that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be in the stands or behind the scenes. I'm not sure yet. We're trying to figure all that stuff out. But I'll have more information. I think it's going to be a real interesting XFL week when it comes to rosters. What's going to happen with the Orlando Guardians? Trading Slaughter to Orlando. I like that idea. But if I'm Arlington, he's a guy that could be the top 3 quarterback in this league. I'm surprised he's on the bench. We'll see. But, I mean, again, Plitt, you have Slaughter play this year. Plitt learn. I mean, it's just, everybody's all in now and like trying to get it. But like, maybe we can get, maybe next year, like you'll be the starter. That kind of stuff. We need to build this league. But hey, it's only week 2, and we've got a lot more football ahead of us. And so blessed and so thankful to be able to talk with you guys about XFL games. We're like, after week 3, like we got 2 more weeks, and then it's like just what we did like in 2020. I just want to get there. I want to get to week 6, and I'll be cool. All right, again, thanks for listening. As always, mahalo. God bless to all my friends out there. Again, and God bless to XFL Nation as it has been birthed today on this program. And I will see you all later.